Topic explains the objectives and role of fiscal policy in managing economic performance. Fiscal policy refers to the use of government spending, taxation, and borrowing to influence aggregate demand, economic growth, employment, and inflation. Governments apply fiscal policy to stabilize business cycles, encourage sustainable economic expansion, and address social or structural challenges within the economy. During periods of recession, expansionary fiscal policy can stimulate economic activity, while contractionary fiscal policy may help control inflation during periods of excessive growth. Fiscal policy is one of the primary macroeconomic tools available to governments and works alongside monetary policy in promoting economic stability and long-term prosperity. One major objective of fiscal policy is achieving full employment and stable economic growth. During economic downturns, rising unemployment reduces household income and consumer spending, weakening aggregate demand further. Governments may respond by increasing public expenditures, investing in infrastructure projects, or reducing taxes to stimulate business activity and create jobs. These actions raise aggregate demand and support economic recovery. Conversely, during periods of excessive economic expansion, governments may reduce spending or increase taxes to prevent overheating and inflationary pressure. Stable economic growth is important because it encourages investment, improves living standards, and strengthens government revenues. Effective fiscal management therefore supports both short-term stabilization and long-term economic development. Price stability is another critical objective of fiscal policy. Inflation erodes purchasing power, reduces consumer confidence, and creates uncertainty for businesses and investors. Excessively rapid growth in aggregate demand can push prices upward, especially when production capacity is constrained. In such cases, governments may implement contractionary fiscal measures by reducing expenditures or increasing taxes to lower demand and moderate inflation. On the other hand, deflation or persistently weak demand can slow economic growth and discourage investment. Expansionary fiscal policy may help prevent deflation by increasing economic activity. Maintaining stable prices contributes to a healthier investment environment because predictable inflation supports efficient financial planning, interest rate stability, and sustainable economic performance. Fiscal policy also aims to promote equitable income distribution and social welfare. Governments use taxation and public spending programs to reduce income inequality and support vulnerable populations. Progressive tax systems impose higher tax rates on higher income individuals, while social programs such as healthcare, education, unemployment benefits, and public housing provide assistance to lower income groups. These measures can improve social stability, increase access to opportunities, and strengthen long-term economic productivity. However, policymakers must balance redistribution goals with economic efficiency because excessive taxation or unsustainable spending may discourage investment and reduce incentives for productivity. Investors and analysts therefore monitor fiscal policy decisions for their broader implications on growth, consumer demand, and business conditions. Another important objective is maintaining sustainable public finances and managing national debt relative to gross domestic product, GDP. Governments often finance budget deficits by borrowing, increasing public debt levels over time. Moderate borrowing can support economic growth if funds are invested productively, especially during recessions when private sector demand is weak. However, excessive debt may increase borrowing costs, crowd out private investment, and reduce fiscal flexibility during future downturns. Analysts therefore evaluate fiscal sustainability by examining debt-to-GDP ratios, budget balances, and long-term economic growth prospects. The ability of governments to manage debt responsibly influences sovereign creditworthiness, interest rates, investor confidence, and overall financial market stability. Overall, topic highlights fiscal policy as a vital instrument for stabilizing economies and supporting long-term economic objectives. Governments use taxation, spending, and borrowing decisions to influence employment, inflation, economic growth, and social welfare. Effective fiscal policy can reduce the severity of recessions, maintain stable prices, improve income distribution, and strengthen economic resilience. However, poor fiscal management may contribute to excessive debt, inflationary pressures, or slower growth. For CFA candidates, understanding fiscal policy objectives is essential because government actions significantly influence interest rates, corporate profitability, consumer demand, and financial market performance. This knowledge supports stronger macroeconomic analysis, investment forecasting, and portfolio management decisions across different economic environments.